All right, I hope you guys are ready to make some money today. We're going to be trading some futures. If you want to cover some stocks, you guys please let me know. Welcome back to another Bullish Bears live stream. I'm your host, Kevin Dubrisky, and I hope you guys are ready for another great stream. We're going to go over futures, some crude oil, some gold. We're going to see what setups are really looking like they want to pan out. Might be looking for some crude oil longs today, seeing that buyers have stepped in the market in the mornings on crude in the past couple days pretty strong. So we'll see if that wants to continue. All right, let's get the screen up and running. We are good to go. Which way looks better? Whatever. Alrighty. Good morning. Good morning. Now sure. Let's see. Give me a half a second, guys, and we'll get right to it. All right. Let's see. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well. Let's take a look at some crude this morning. Now, crude, I want to point out, we already broke that previous day high again. Now, it looks like oil is trying to go on a bit of a bull run here. So we could be patient. We could see if we do want to break one more time. We are taking out this recent lower high. This isn't as major as, one like this one or even this one would be, but we're going to keep an eye on them anyways. Let's do major, because like I said before, we can't take out this one, a major pivot high, without taking out the lower ones first. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. So we're taking a look at crude at the moment, and we're seeing if we do want to find some buyers today. Crude oil. Look at that. Some buyers stepped in right out the gate, right off of the 67.69 level. 67.69. Is that previous day low? Oh no, I have the wrong previous day low marked out. That'll do it. Previous day high, previous day low, open price, and gap fill is going to be somewhere over here. You mark that out even though it's crude. Gap. And let's see our stats real quick. Gap fill, crude oil. Good morning, everybody. Let's see. Standard New York, and we will go. Let's see, where did we say our gap was? Our gap is right where we are right now, so odds are going to be a bit higher because it's an extremely small gap. Open price is up here, so if we want to be a green bullish day, we would have to get above this open price. So a few things I might be looking out for on crude here. Actually, wait a minute. There we go. So first thing I did notice, guys, was we had this, hey, what's going on, Darko? Good morning. Good morning. Darko Match Ken, what's going on? Hello and welcome. We are looking at crude oil right now. Then we'll look over the NASDAQ and S&P 500 too. Now, something I noticed with oil is, check this out. The past couple days, right, the morning comes around, New York session opens 9:30. We had a pullback, and then we had a pump right into supply. Same thing as the next day, right? We had a pullback handle, and we had a strong pump through supply, and we broke it. Now, yesterday I was looking for us to retest this area to target the next supply zone, but it didn't give us that pullback. It just broke it and continued. So what I would like to see today is if by chance we could pull back to this supply zone. Now, this broken supply zone, I should say, It also has a demand zone that just formed over it now. So this is really lining up sort of more in my favor because now this broken supply has a new demand that formed over it. So we're going to call this D 15 minute. We're going to delete some of these older levels that we don't need anymore. I'm going to keep this red supply zone, this red one right here. And that's just so I could sort of see where they were overlapping. See if I can find maybe a bit more of a pinpoint entry or a pinpoint stop loss, something like that, right? So just something we could keep an eye on just to see if we do want to pull back to that area. It is Friday today, guys, so let's see if we have any economic news coming up. No, nothing scheduled that's high importance. 9:05, we had Fed Williams' speech. That's not going to give us much. All right, so not looking like much news-wise, so we could trade today without being worried that some type of rep or somebody's going to speak and the market will flush or pump. So 15-minute demand zone right here. Going to add my alert. Pretty sure this is also an alert that I had, so we could just drag that up or at least throw it out because it's an old one. Now let's take a look at the other time frame, see if we have any supply zones. Now I do see we have let's see, we have a supply zone right here on the 30-minute time frame because we have our basing candle at the highs, we have our sell-off, and then we have a bunch of continuation. So here's our supply zone, and what I'm going to do is this 2-hour zone that we have, part of me wanted to delete it, but check it out. Even though we broke it here, we still rejected it this day. And then even though we broke it here, this is overnight now, we still rejected it again. But the thing is, now we're making higher highs, higher lows. This is still looking more of a bullish market. Now, the reason I would like this 15-minute demand zone here is because if we did take out this pre-market low right here, we'd be taking out some internal liquidity before reversing back higher. So if we broke this low, it wouldn't really mean that we're reversing. It might just mean that we're grabbing some liquidity before we push. My biggest issue with that would be we have a very strong candle. We had some volume increase. And it looks like we might just start to pump. Hourly. I don't see any new demand zones that formed though, so that's a good sign that we probably might not just be reversing out of nowhere here, continuing here. Nope, let's put that back. So that's what we're looking for on crude today, guys. Probably looking to see some longs. We took out previous day high. If we're looking at previous day's range on crude oil, and we see previous day high gets taken out, we're going to look at the daily session. Previous day high gets taken out, 68% chance of closing green. I see it has been a little bit of every other. It does have yesterday's information too, which is cool. Let's see. Any stats that are sort of more in our favor? What about by weekday? Nope, that just brings it to a 60-60. So nothing really in our favor that we might be closing green today. Other than it does, like I said, it does have the 70% chance of closing green when we break previous day high. So those odds are in our favor. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ now. NASDAQ and ES. And let's take a quick stab at our gap and our open price. So here's our 330 candle, and we're on the 30-minute time frame, so the 330 close is going to be our gap price. And now I could check to see where our open price is. If it's somewhere nearby, which it looks like it's going to be, our opening price is right here. I'm just going to keep this one price level. Instead of marking it up as two price levels right here, I know that this area is the gap in open price. Let's see. Now let's see NASDAQ's gap fill. What are the odds that NASDAQ fills its gap today, guys? Let's see, a gap down. Well, this is previous day's range. Let's do gap fill. Now this is going to be a big gap. Check out how far we are from it already. 0.88%. So if we go standard, we want to go to New York because it's the New York gap now. 0.89%, huge gap. So we want to go by size. It's probably going to be a very, very, very low percentage. Yeah, only 20% filled on gap downs like this. Very low odds, but frequency was low too. Gap down only 5 times over 0.7%, and it filled that gap 1 time, failed that gap 4 times. So again, stats are sort of in that favor to continue lower, but we don't have enough frequency to really go off of, in my opinion. Perhaps we come into this demand zone, we find some support and push higher. 'Cause check it out, we did find some support down here too. Now let's check out that previous day high, previous day low. We have been in more of a bear market, though. We have to remember that. We did take out previous day low already. So previous day's range. Are you marking supply and demand zones manually? Yeah, so I'm marking supply and demand manually. Right? So I'm looking at my time frame analysis. I'm finding some supply and demand zones manually. I'm looking for basing candles like this one right here. And then I look for a sell-off, and what I would like to usually see is continuation. But this is a pretty good area. We see that sellers rejected us here. We tried to retest it and rejected one more time. It sort of helps gauge some areas of support and resistance too, right? So it also gives me my range in the NASDAQ now. So the high of this range is about 19,840. The low of this range is about 19,670. So that's about, so a little less than 200 points, about 170 points, 170. Now we took previous day low out. When we take out previous day's low, we have a 67% chance of closing red, but that's on the New York session, which we will open below previous day low most likely. So that stat should still hold. Let's check previous day low, taken out weekday, like the whole daily candle. 72% chance of closing red today. Okay, well now I know I'm probably going to be looking for bears on Nasdaq. Previous day low. Look at that. We're on a streak of 5 in a row right now. Great. Now let's check by weekday. Stats are pretty similar. Stats are pretty similar. I will say it looks like the past every other week we've been closing green on, but I think that's 228, 214, and this is on Fridays. So let me pull out the handy dandy calendar. 228, 228, and 214. So that was in every other week, but we missed last week. Last week would have been our every other. So we don't have that stat. Yeah, 214. Wait, yeah, where is 14? Oh, I guess it would be 21. Let me see. Yeah, 21, and that was a red day. Okay, interesting. Wait, no, yeah, 21, and then 28. 28 was green. Oh, okay, yeah, it is every other. So it was red, then it was green. I'm sorry, it was green, and then it was red, then it was green, and then it was red. So that's sort of, if we are looking at Fridays as in every other situation, we're looking at that trend to continue. We would be looking at a green day today, which would catch a lot of traders off sides. And that's usually the type of trades we want to find. We want to find those people on the wrong side of the market where it's almost like it's obvious, oh, we're going to continue lower, but we have demand here. We have some support here. Last time we were down here, price held. This is the FOMC lows, I think. No, that would be down here, but still a very strong area of support down here. Let's check out our hourly time frame, see if we do have any other demand zones. Now I do have a 30-minute here, but it does look like there's also an hourly. So I could mark it out like that, D1 hour. Now I'm not the biggest fan of this hourly time frame demand zone, and that's because, check this out. We have our basing, which is usually what I look for, and I'll turn the drawings off for a second. We have our basing candle, then we have our impulse move, but the follow through got faded. And that's usually a red flag for me. So usually when I see that on like an hourly time frame, I'll break it down to like a 30-minute. And I'll probably find something a little more cleaner, maybe, right? Not even on this one. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Definitely a lot of support down here today. So I'm not going to be jumping in any short positions when the market opens. I'm going to use my tool Bookmap. We're going to look to see where the order flow is. And we're going to look to see where we can maybe possibly catch some longs. CVD is red, but we'll just have to see VD and how it goes. All right, let's see. Maybe Nas will want to rebalance up in this 19,728 area before pushing lower. Remember, though, stats-wise, previous day low is suggesting bearish. We could check the performance by weekday too and see how Fridays usually play out. We'll do New York session for that one. Right, let's see. It looks like Friday's close to one of the weakest days. It looks like it's tied with Thursdays of the weakest days to the downside, right? Or strongest days to the downside. So we do want to be a little careful with that. Let's see. How's performance by week? Today we could check our orb, see if we got any streaks going. Now we have had some single breaks the past couple days in a row, along with the double break. Yo, I asked them. Oh, it's a breakdown. I asked them if they could do so breakout, breakout, breakdown, double break, breakdown. I asked them if they could do double break with a comma and be like double break, high, then low. Double break, low, then high. Because how cool would that be to know if we broke out to the downside first or the upside first? That's funny, Kyle. Yo, you got it. You got it. I see VD. See V like Victor. See VD right down here. Cumulative volume delta. Alpha Bravo. What's the other one? All right, let's see, guys. So yeah, Nas, I might be looking on longs here. Not right here and right now, but when market opens, we'll see how we want to play out. See if we want to enter this demand zone, find some longs, and then hold for a little while because, like I mentioned, the market has been trying to rally in those mornings lately. Perfect. Let's see. So we went over crude, right? Went over what we're looking for on crude. We added some alerts. I'll add another alert to the broken supply zone. And we'll take a look at gold because gold also has been in a weird range. So yesterday, we ended up trying to rally off of this, what is this, like a 15-minute demand zone? 15-minute demand zone to supply. We broke supply and even took out this lower time frame market structure shift, but we failed to really break above it with strength. And then overnight market, we've sold off into this demand zone. I am going to keep this green zone as an area of interest to see if perhaps we want to find some buyers down here. But I want to be careful because at this point, gold has broken previous day low already. Let's see, gap price is probably going to be right there. Open price is going to be right here. Previous day highs right here. Now, even though gold took out previous day low, could have taken out previous day low to go into this daily imbalance and push back higher because it has been in a bit of a bull trend. We got to remember that. I'm going to delete this. I'm not going to keep that there. We could see if we have anything on the 15-minute or 30-minute time frames. Sort of creating right here, and we're going to call this our order block area. So if this 15-minute wants to continue higher, I'll look for a retest of the zone for a long position on gold. How's gold looking? CVD, is it green? It's close to pushing green. And now we could see if there's a new supply zone up here. Because remember, we broke this 15-minute now, so we'll see if there's a new one up here. Here's a 45-minute supply zone right here. Mark this out as supply. We're going to get rid of this blue zone. We don't need that anymore. This blue zone was pretty strong of a key level. We'll keep it. There's a 45-minute supply zone for now. So we're going to mark this out as S45. 90-minute. Anything else up here? Is there an hourly, a 2-hour, a 3-hour? Would much rather a higher time frame. Nope, I'm only seeing that 45. So target would be 30.52 on gold to the upside. And if we use our bookmap tool, 30.52, don't really have any passive orders up there right now. So we'll see. We'll see. Definitely looking ready. CVD pushing green. I don't really see any imbalances for reentry except maybe down here 30-40 area. 30-40 area. We could use, guys, if you don't have bookmap and you do have trading view, you could use the where is it, the anchored volume profile tool and throw that on to, let's say we'll do just today, so we'll throw it onto here and that'll show you our volume profile for today where most volume was traded on gold is right down here at this 30.38. 3038 right down here, and that we do have a low volume node down there as well, so that might also be a possible entry. So we're going to wait on gold. We're not going to jump any guns or anything. We're just going to wait and see how it wants to play out. And we could keep this here. So let's see, row size. Now, if we did row size like 34, it'll make these smaller. And what it'll do is it'll show more of them. See that? Volume, up and down, total. Where does it even say the volume? Oh, I see. Delta. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let's see delta. Interesting. Value area 70%. I don't know what I have up and down. Styles, values. Oh, here we go. That's pretty cool. Value area high, value area low. Developing point of control. That's going to be this one that's right down here. Point of control is at 30, 38, 50 right now. Developing VA volume average. Let's see. That's interesting. Cool stuff, man. This is a pretty cool tool. No, volume average would be pretty helpful because that's sort of where the price should be ranging in accordance to volume and point of control. So that's actually pretty neat. That's really neat. Because look, see how these levels go from up here to down here? Well, that's where the largest amount of volume was traded on gold. That's cool. We'll keep that up today. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to add my alert to 3039 down here on gold, see if we do want to find any buying pressure. That's cool, man. That's cool. Crude gold did just test the zone, but remember, this isn't really point of control anymore. What I want to know is the values. Let's see. Placement right, up volume. Damn, I was hoping values where it's like 1.6 by 1.59, I'd be able to turn that onto delta. Oh, maybe. Oh, there we go. Cool. That's pretty cool. Let's do, what's delta? How's delta look? Dope. That's dope, guys. We'll keep an eye on that. That's pretty cool. We got more buying delta in this area right here. We got more selling delta in this area, but we got more volume in this area. Crude oil trying to reject this broken supply zone. Remember, guys, I want to see if we could come down towards this demand zone. 67.60 on crude oil today. Let's see. Let's do a write-up. 67.60 on crude oil, but we were looking for bulls on the breakout today, right? So crude oil, previous day's range, high taken out. Let's do our daily session on crude oil. CL. 68% chance of closing green. When previous day high is taken out, we already took out previous day high. This black level buy side liquidity is no more. And that looks pretty good now. Not bad, not bad. I'd like to see if we could take out this demand zone, then go to new high a day. That would be pretty clean. Let's take a quick pick of this. All right. Gonna set up what we're looking at here. All right, so crude oil. Yesterday's demand zone held very well on crude for a nice long position. The past couple days, buyers have stepped in when the New York session opens. So I would like to see that trend continue, and I'd like to see if we could retest demand at 67.60. All right. That's sort of what I'm looking for on oil. So oil, yes, the demand very well, blah, blah, blah. Good typing. Edgeful, we have when we break previous day high, we have a 68% chance. And what about, did we check by weekday? Still like 60% chance. Cool. 68% chance of closing green. Okay. Perfect. Love it. Love to see it. Want to see gold. Look at that oil pulling back already. Low volume area, 30-40. Remember, we had that 30-40. Look at this. Check that out. Interesting. I'm getting NASDAQ. Looks like NAS is heading towards that demand zone right now. Look at that. NAS in demand. This is rhythmic. We don't want rhythmic. We want this one. CVD dropping like it's hot. Low volume down here though too. So it's like possible for a trade here. Especially because it's pre-market. I don't see us breaking demand pre-market, but my best trades come from when markets opened on ESNQ, so I don't want to be jumping the gun on anything here. No reason to. Market opens in 30 minutes. We have ES at some support here too, though. It does look good. Don't get me wrong. It does look good. Possible longs. But something I want to note is, again, pre-market. Market open is when we've been getting those pushes lower and then a reversal back higher sometimes. I think yesterday it did not. Yesterday let's see, yesterday in the morning. No, yesterday, yeah, we rallied after a wick lower. Day before that, pushed lower for like 15 minutes first, and then we rallied. And before that, we dumped. So we've been getting some volatility in the morning. I like that. I like that crude pullback. I like that gold pullback. Really like this gold volume profile thing over here. Very cool stuff. YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, show some love. Discord, where are you guys at today? You guys take any trades? What's going on? No trades yet, right? Pre-market only. Nice. Oh yeah, let's take a look at ES. The S&P 500. 500. Previous day low, previous day high. 6 hour, 4 hour. Any 4 hour demand zones? Nope. 3 hour? Nope. 2 hour? No. Maybe a 1 hour somewhere over here. No. Maybe back to a 3 hour? Nope. Right now I'm looking in this area right here to see if I see anything demand-wise while we're skydiving. Mm, 90-minute. 45, 30-minute. Maybe there's a 30-minute I've marked there. Yeah, 30-minute demand zone right there. D30-minute. Now, something else I'll notice, guys, is this 5684, this purple level, this demand zone. A very clean demand zone worked out pretty well yesterday for the lows before we reversed to a huge break higher. We broke that already. So now the question is, does this support want to become resistance? And that's where I'm going to be looking to see some possible short entries on ES. Let's see what range that is and see if Bookmap has any passive sellers lining up there. Between 84 and 90. 84 and 90. Well, that's this low volume shelf right here. So that sort of does line up. So we're going to keep an eye on that for a possible short entry. Remember, stats wise, we're looking for shorts because previous day low gets taken out on ESNQ. And we usually have, let's take a look, NQ, previous day low taken out, 67% chance of closing red. ES, previous day low taken out, we have a 55% chance of closing red. So we will wait and see, because check this out. Friday, the last 2 Fridays when we broke a previous day low, we actually closed green. So that's very interesting. Definitely something to consider. But if we do look at the gap fill as well, probably not anywhere close to that gap price. So here's our gap price right here. Gap. And now check out where we are right now. Gap is all the way up here. We're all the way down here. I don't think we fill that gap, but we might be able to get a nice short position up here, right? Hit this demand zone, then start to pull back. Let's see if we get maybe an optimal trade entry that lines up. Maybe we'll pull back from like right here. Now I want to also check to see what's this 30-minute demand zone. Is this a valid demand zone, right? This is the one we just formed over here. What do we have underneath that? Well, we have more support. We had another strong, pretty large demand zone right here. Another one right below it on the 90-minute time frame. So again, a lot of support down here. But if sellers step in, and sellers mean business, we're just going to crash through these support zones. So we'll be patient. We'll see how it wants to play out. Yeah, we'll just have to see. We'll be patient and see what the market wants to give us. It is 9:03. And we will see. Did you guys see that Walmart was acquired, or Walgreens was acquired? I apologize. Walgreens was acquired. This was like a week or two ago, so now they are going private. So I think they pulled their stock. I don't know if they did that yet. I don't know that process, if it's immediate or what, but they're going private. It's pretty crazy. Let's see, guys. Let's see. Hey, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody is doing good today. Boston, what's going on, man? Paul, what's up? Victoria, good morning, guys. Hope you guys are doing good. Happy Friday. What's going on, Fed? What's going on, FF Fed? What's going on, my guy? Good morning and welcome. It's funny. Somebody just joined whose name, the Discord name is Charlie Mike. Before I was saying, well, I was doing something with the Charlie Mike Bravo Delta, right? Because we were talking about the Greeks. So easily entertained, Kevin. Thinking of longs here, Nas off a pretty strong key level. It is still demand, but unfortunately, it is still pre-market. So I'm not the biggest fan of it, but like, it's not the worst trade setup, but it's not the best. Looking at that 90-minute, looks like a basing for a drop candle too. So rather sort of wait for maybe a short trade. YouTube, if you guys are watching this on YouTube and it's a pre-market prep, make sure you guys tune in for the live stream. Live stream starts in about 10-15 minutes. We're going to be live trading. We're going to be doing the same stuff we're seeing here, except we're going to actively be trying to take some trades, see what works out. And look at this, crude oil trying to find our entry point down here. Gold came back to this area, and look at how it reacted to it. That's great. Volume is key. All right, YouTube, I am going to wrap up the pre-market prep. Make sure you hit that like button.